News 3 now looks into whether Nevada is capable of redistricting before before the 2030 census and possibly ahead of the 2026 midterms. News 3's Will Silverstein joining us live here in studio. So, Will, is this possible? And if so, why?
Well, Marie, yes, it is possible. Traditionally, we see the redistricting every 10 years after that latest census, but Nevada's maps are drawn up by the state legislature, so it's up to our locally elected state assembly members and senators to make those maps. Now, we bring in political science professor Dave McCuan. And Professor, you're in California. The governor there, of course, reacting to the move in Texas and planning for new maps in the nation's largest state. What's next there, and is Nevada in play for redistricting?
All right, so the legislature is currently on a break. They'll come back later this month. There's a 5-day period, 5 working days that they have to put the maps together. They'll have to be raising money at that same time. There's less than 90 days, obviously, until they have this November election. For all intents and purposes, California is going to be out there with this redistricting map moving forward. It'll be a hugely expensive, hugely controversial election. It will receive national attention. Can Nevada do the same? It'd be difficult to do that by the 26th cycle, but it certainly would be easy enough to do after 26 into the 28 cycle and before 30. But really, it would be a heavy push through 26. There's a lot of demographic shift and change in Nevada. That's something to pay attention to. But if it happened in a purple state like Nevada, that really would be national news.
It seems like here, at least unlike some of these other states when it comes to control of Congress, the focus seems to be the 26 governor's race. Would that being the center stage and the main event of the fight in 26 kind of take away from the potential of redistricting in 26?
Well, look, on one coast, you've got the President Trump. On the other coast, you've got Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom wants to be front and center ahead of all other Democrats after being termed out in 26. So if he were to pull this off, it's a make or break moment for his career. That's why they're throwing the kitchen sink at this. And you kind of pan back from this, Will, as well. Democrats are having a bit of an existential crisis. What do they represent? Where are they at? How are they going to push back against Trump? They've had that gut punch since 2024, and where they're headed next. That's why they're throwing all their eggs into this 2026 basket and redistricting, which would be far beyond California's voters as well. So this is really a huge monumental fight that's national in scope.
So one of the other things I want to talk about too is some states have an independent commission to draw things up. Here in Nevada, the legislators draw things up. Where do you think the national pulse of the nation is at this point of this debate, and could Nevada move to that commission-based system?
Yeah, I mean, you have 17 states that have commissions. There are different forms of these commissions, and really what you should pay attention to is how many seats are quote-unquote in play. There are less than 40 marginal congressional districts that really are in play the last couple of cycles, 40, 45. We've had relatively close results, and you look at the differences in a congressional district between the presidential vote, say the vote for Donald Trump, and then the vote for the congressional candidate, say a Republican or a Democrat, and how close that looks like. When you look at the closeness of House seats and what is happening across the country, and then control for redistricting commissions or not, you don't see that much difference in terms of seats in play, and you see them across a wide variety of seats. And one reason for that, a wide variety of states, rather. The one reason for that is because, look, some states are really Democratic and deeply blue, California. Some states are a bit more of a mix, the many purple states, and some states are red, like Texas. So the number of seats you can actually acquire is not a big number, and it'll be fascinating to see if this happens in California, say Illinois and New York. Can Democrats pick up the seats to offset what Republicans try to do in Texas, Indiana, Missouri, Ohio, and Florida?
And this is one of those tough states too, where you really have the two population centers, and one really just makes up one congressional district, which is everybody up in Reno. Then the other three are kind of divvied around the Las Vegas area. What role does that have as far as the odd population compared to other states across the country have in this particular attempt at redistricting, should it happen?
Yeah, there's two components here, and an excellent question. One is that the redistricting tests have to meet this kind of Supreme Court test of what's called COI, or communities of interest. You can't silo individuals in this regard, so you can't put all of the Latinos and Latinas in one district or all the African Americans in one area. This has been one of the problems in the history of redistricting and one of the reasons we have the Voting Rights Act. In addition, the Trump folks want to hold on to their coalition that that helped them in 2024, where they were able to get more of the vote that traditionally has gone to Democrats. So those two components, communities of interest combined with maintaining that Trump coalition, is why last month he pushed to have this kind of really huge effort, and one reason why you see Democratic governors like Gavin Newsom going to war and pushing back. And it'll be very interesting to see this, because in off years, normally we don't get these kind of fireworks in terms of state and national politics across the country.
All right, more from Professor McCuan tonight at 11. Professor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to see you.
All right, Marie, back to you.